I start cooking when my husband leaves work, giving myself 30 minutes on the clock. Tonight we're having panko crusted chicken that I'm baking in the oven, along with garlic mashed potatoes and a vegetable medley. Let's see if I can beat the clock. The first thing that we need to do is get our potatoes going. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash these up. I just have a handful or so of Yukon Gold potatoes. Potatoes are clean, and I'm just gonna chop these into 1-inch size pieces so they cook pretty evenly and quickly. Say about like that, maybe 1.5 inch size pieces. This is gonna be the thing that takes the longest tonight, so I'm kind of racing through it. I don't want to cut my fingers off. This is a 3-quart pan. I have about a half of this full with potatoes. We're gonna cover this with cold water. I'll actually rinse these off once just to get a little bit of the starch off, and then we're gonna cook them. I don't know if you should do that, but I do. TikTok yell at me if I shouldn't do that. Cold water covering my potatoes. And because the internet thinks that I don't know how to season things, which truthfully I don't. See where I live. This is where I'm from. This is where I live. We don't like seasoning in the Midwest. So yell at me for it. I don't care. I really do like spicy food. I just can't serve spicy food to a toddler. And I know that there's a difference between seasoning and spice. But continue to yell at me for not knowing how to season. But just to prove that I do season, I'm going to show you that I put salt in these potatoes. What's actually like hilarious about this is I used to work for a spice and seasoning manufacturer. I don't know, that much salt, maybe actually a little bit more. Potatoes really like salt. Be sure to salt them when you're boiling them. It really gets in there. Makes them taste better in the long run. Notice I didn't peel them. It's a weeknight dinner, so I have a rule that I don't peel potatoes during the week. I mentioned that we're having panko crusted chicken. Normally I would just oven roast this, but I did a pantry clean out and found a ton of panko that I need to get rid of. My chicken has been thawing out, still maybe a little bit frozen. That's not a big deal. It's much easier to cut if it's still a little frozen. This is not ultra trim chicken breasts, so I'm gonna take off some of these fat pieces quick. Gotta hurry. Talking too much, and then I don't beat the clock. Take off all the icky parts, any extra skin that got left behind. We want to peel that off too. I saw this somewhere to cut it like this. I would normally go in and cut my chicken in half like this. We're gonna thin these out. Well, update. I can't find my meat tenderizer, so we're gonna improvise. I'm just gonna lay these in here, a couple of them at a time. I don't wanna splash chicken juice all over my kitchen. We're just gonna pound these out till they get a little bit flatter. Yes, this is a drink muddler or a meat tenderizer. You pick. Okay, those are done. Going straight onto my pan. Round one. You can also use like the bottom of a flat cup instead if you don't have a meat tenderizer, or if you're like me and you just can't find it. How nice and thin those are. Those are so perfect. All laid out. We're gonna come back to these. I'm gonna wash my hands and clean up a little bit. Clean as you go. We're gonna first season this. I'm gonna use the Kinder's buttery garlic and herb. And you're just gonna season this pretty liberally. I'm gonna leave one of these seasoned really lightly for our daughter. That one's our light one. This is my favorite little hack for making some kind of crusty chicken without having to fry it. I've got a little bit of mayonnaise here, maybe 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. And then I had some Greek yogurt that is about to go bad and I want to use it up. So I'm gonna take another 1/4 cup or so of Greek yogurt. We're gonna mix this together. Take a dollop on top of each of these chicken pieces and we're gonna spread this out. Spread this out evenly on our chicken. Make sure that everything gets coated. My potatoes are boiling phenomenally back there. I have an Italian breadcrumb, panko breadcrumb, a partial pack here. Just gonna spread a little bit of this over the top. Use up the rest of that container. Then I have some of this Kinder's Italian and herb panko breadcrumb mix. Just gonna use this to round it out. I will say that this is not my favorite. It's really zesty. I like zest, I like spice, but this is just a little bit intense for me. Last thing before we put it in the oven, a quick spray of olive oil, just so this gets nice and crispy on top. 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes. Last thing that we have to do is put together our broccoli medley. I don't have any fresh broccoli, but I do have a bag of nearly freezer burnt broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots, so we're gonna use that. Going into my steamer, seasoning with the same seasoning that we used on the chicken, that buttery garlic and herb. Add water, cover, and these will cook right up until they walk in the door. My potatoes aren't quite ready, so I'm gonna give those just a couple more minutes and then we'll drain them, and they don't take that long to come together. So at this point is normally when I would do dishes, but I actually just wanted to, gosh, this looks ridiculous. But I got called out last week for my hair being down. I don't know. People are mean. I don't know how else to say it, but I started recording these videos because every night I found myself working right up until the last minute that I possibly could, and then giving myself about 30 minutes to make supper. It became a competition for me to see if I could actually have it done. And I thought, why not just start posting these on TikTok too? And then I had this video where, I'm not kidding, I decided to make that supper about 3 seconds before I started making it. It was like, here's the recipe, it's go time, let's try it. And then the negative comments just like kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And if you guys know me, I try to be kind in everything that I do. I hate being negative towards people. I felt like people were just coming for me in those comments. Anyways, my rant is over. My potatoes are probably done. These are fork tender. I'm just gonna drain them off and then we'll get going on getting them. Our potatoes are perfect. Just starting to look a little like mashed on the edges. That's how I know that they're done boiling for how I want to mash these up. Give these a really rough mash. I love rustic mashed potatoes. A little bit chunky. If you're here for smooth mashed potatoes, move along. I am not your person. Gonna go in with some butter, 4 tablespoons or so. I still have a tiny little bit of heavy whipping cream that is hanging on from the holidays, and I don't like to waste food. So we're gonna use up some heavy whipping cream in these two. That's gonna make them just super luscious. This is my favorite garlic salt in the entire world. I love Simply Organic. I'm gonna go in with quite a bit for me. We can always add more, but I cannot take away from the toddler's plate. I think I added too much heavy whipping cream. Let's taste. I know that consistency looks like it's actually a little bit too thin, but I'm telling you, it's so good. Those are yummy. These came together so perfectly. And so easy. It took me 3 minutes to chop potatoes and what, maybe 2 minutes here to prep them. 5 minutes with a little bit of cook time in between and you have garlic mashed potatoes. Don't tell me that you can't make these at home. Our chicken is still cooking, but I want to check it. I have my handy dandy little meat thermometer here. Ooh, these are done. To just make this nice and brown and put it under the broiler for the last few minutes. There's my notification that they are coming down the road, getting home.
Good job.
Hi.
Yeah.
All plated up and ready for dinner. It's not a very fancy meal, but it's super good. We have fork tender chicken, cuts so easily. So good, minimal effort. Frozen vegetables like this will always be subpar, but we're using them up. Those potatoes though, I could eat an entire plate of these.